106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good evening, this is Dr. Bones live with my friends and co-hosts MadAndersons and our very special guest tonight, Nelson, who's a man of many hats, and the bands we know about are North Star, Melting Pot, and the Celebration Army. Welcome, Nelson.
Thanks, man. I am actually wearing a hat tonight. Thanks for stating that. Whose track is that? Your theme song?
The guy's name is Lord Numb. And he's out of the UK, and he's been very good to me over the years and given me a lot of good music, and he volunteered to do a promo or an intro for us, and it's stuck ever since, and he's just a really good person, very nice man.
That's a badass tune.
I know, eh?
Yeah, we like it. I was singing it.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Very catchy, yeah.
So, first off, Nelson, you've got 3 different bands that we know about, but you just do so much. I mean, what initially kind of inspired you to say, you know what, I want to keep moving and I'm going to just do a whole bunch of different music?
I put all my effort into like one project a long time ago, and you put all your heart and soul and your blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
And when the bottom dropped out of that, it kind of put me down in a pit for a while. So instead of being so, not that I'm not committed to all my projects 100%, I absolutely am, but this way, I don't know, it's kind of like a backup plan. Like if something falls through, okay, we keep moving, go on with this project, you know?
Well, you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nelson.
What?
I said go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that way, and I also like so many different styles of music that it's hard for me just to do one project and feel fulfilled all the time. Not that they're not all fulfilling. I'm just covering my tracks in case any band members are listening. And, I really love old school country music, and so I get to do that kind of vibe with North Star. And I really love, just rocking out on my guitar and playing heavy blues riffs and soloing, and I get to do that with the Celebration Army. And then with my own stuff, with Melting Pot, I do whatever I want. And then I play in a bunch of other bands where I'm just like kind of like a hired gun to come and rip guitar.
Right. That's very evident because initially I actually didn't know you were part of all 3 bands because we emailed back and forth and sent me a lot of tunes by Melting Pot, which we did play. Right. And then when I was talking to Brian from Fast Factory Records, he was saying, because when he put the promo up, I was like, he's all 3 bands. I was like, yeah. I was like, wow. Like, I had no idea. And that's a good thing because, it's pretty much what happens is there's no way possible he could be pigeonholed at all because you're all over the place.
Yeah. I really put a lot of effort into making sure that they all have their own identity, like, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting there with a scalpel and making sure everything, but, I make sure like everything has its own place, like I write all the time and I'm like, this is definitely for this band and that's for this band and this is for myself. And, that might be a cool riff for this person, and I let the music dictate where it wants to go.
I know,
predominantly.
And that's a good way to go. And I was telling Nolan and Catherine earlier that when we spoke briefly to make sure the Skype playing was good and it was all right, that from the 5 minutes I talked to you, I was like, man, this is going to be so much fun because you're such a nice guy. And
thanks.
Very
I'm sure we could find some people that disagree with you.
But very excited to talk to you about your different bands. Now, before I get to my next question, I'm going to give the floor here to Nolan and Catherine and let them ask a few first.
Excellent.
I'll go first. Yeah, we were looking at your material, and so how many bands are you in? Do you know?
There's two that are constantly playing. That's North Star and the Celebration Army. We just played a really great show last night at the Rivoli, and both North Star and Celebration Army are playing North by Northeast Festival next week. Mm-hmm. So it's actually on this. I try not to play the same bands on the same night, but you can't say no to a big festival, and they wanted both bands, so I'm gonna. As long as there's a couple bands separating us, it's not so bad. What was the question again?
You said you also played with other bands. I was just
I play in another band called the Chris Harper Band, and it's like a funk kind of thing. We got a sax player in there, a keyboard,
nice.
And we just finished up recording a 4-song EP, so that's getting mixed now. So it should be coming out sometime soon, and it's wonderful because it's not my baby, but I love all the guys dearly, and I'm. The principal songwriter is Chris Harper, but he's really open to me throwing whatever ideas I have into the mix. So I get to work up my own parts and suggest, maybe we should go to a bridge here or something like that. Pretty much I just kind of keep to myself and play guitar and have a laugh with those guys. And there's no pressure in that because it's not my songs, right? I'm not part of the creative process in that sense. So it's kind of more laid back. So I play with those guys. I play with another band called Red Falcon White Lightning, which is a really fun band. It's 3 guitar players.
Wow.
So we all get our jollies off playing twin leads and triple leads. It's really cool poppy songwriting and with 3 electric guitars going. And that band it'll play for a few months and then it won't play for 6 months. It's one of those bands. And I don't write any of the songs, and I don't have really any say into arrangements. I just kind of play guitar, and they give me parts, and I play them. And it's just more like a fun thing. I love the songs, and we're all buddies from other bands, so it's just like hanging out with your pals.
Right. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And who else? I play pickup gigs with different people. Like tonight, I'm playing with my buddy of mine named Niall, a fantastic singer-songwriter, and a little like a cross between Van Morrison and Hozier, really talented. And he's like, "Can you play tonight?" I'm like, "Yep." So do some fiddle music and some of his original stuff. And then on Mondays, every Monday, I run this open mic at the Painted Lady. So we back everybody that shows up and kind of learn their songs on the fly and do that. So that's like dodging bullets every night. Because some people are used to playing by themselves a lot, and they kind of break one of my main rules for musicians is to practice with the metronome. Tuners and metronomes, that should be part of your arsenal when you're sitting around, because there's no sense in practicing something if you're not on time.
Exactly.
And I talk to a lot of musicians. You guys are all musicians, and they're always like, "Okay, Streetcar, we hear you." And they're always like, "Oh, the metronome it messes me up. It throws me." I'm like, "No, it's an electronic device. It has no care for you whatsoever. It's just doing its job." So if you're off, it's because you're off.
Yeah, don't blame.
And I find that the more tighter you are with the metronome, you can play around with time better. You can be on the top end of the one. You can be in the middle. You can be hanging off the edge of the one. You don't always have to be on the beat, but you can always be in time.
Right. You need to know where it is.
Exactly, to come back to it.
Yep.
And I maybe didn't answer your question, but...
And actually, a follow question. Sorry to take up this floor here. So do you ever have scheduling problems? Like accident, overbooked, double booked?
More in my social life than anything.
Ah.
Not with music. I'm very careful with music, and I keep a calendar, a nice big calendar on my handwritten on my desk, and I write stuff in right away. And I have certain bands their rehearsal nights are concrete and they never change. And then gigs, gigs are gigs. I wing it, and if something's already booked first, then that band takes precedent.
Got it.
No,
Unless, we're supposed to open for the Rolling Stones or something.
right.
Switch it up or something. Be like, can't make it, guys. I got a cough.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Nelson? I do the same thing for my interviews because a lot of times I'll have like a bunch of interviews in 1 week. So
Right.
I'll write it down so I can space them out. And sometimes, not too many times, but sometimes I'll do a back-to-back one. So I'll make sure I
Right.
leave enough time in between that I can set up for the next one. So I completely understand what you mean by that, and that's the only way to go in order to keep
Do you
everything.
work the handwritten calendar as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like I use the notes on my phone sometimes, but
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 I have like an old what's it called? Not loose leaf, but just like an old kind of scrapbook that I write stuff down in, so I check off stuff as I go along.
Yeah, me too. Totally. That's 100%. Yeah, but to sometimes small snafus happen, but I'm very rigid with that stuff, and I'm on top of it. And like I said, my social life suffers more than anything. So with the scheduling and things.
No, fair enough. Absolutely. So, Nolan, you got any questions there, buddy?
Yeah, to continue with this topic, do you find that there's any jealousy from band to band, or animosity, or not to tell, but
No, actually, everyone's really cool with it. Everyone's all friends, and everyone kind of understands that. Like, and I've never showed up to a thing and been half-assed with it. I've never been like, oh, I really need to go get to Celebration Army practice or something. It's like if I'm at North Star thing and I'm dealing with North Star stuff, it has my full attention, and vice versa. And I always give 100% to each band when I'm with them.
excellent.
And I do work for the bands above and beyond what's asked of me. So there's never any question of like, why are you doing this or why aren't you doing that?
Right.
Right.
And I share opportunities equally with all bands, and depending on schedules, people call me for gigs, and I'll weigh it against who's got time with what band, and also what bands will fit said gig.
Right.
So there's some gigs that especially with North Star, the beauty of North Star is that we can do it as a duo or we can do it as a full band. And the reason for that was we were playing lots of duo shows, and we were playing in rock clubs and stuff, and no matter how good you are, if you're playing in a rock club acoustically, it's people talk, and it's even if they're not destroying it for everyone else, like I can hear you,
Right.
Right.
and it does mess with you. Like I don't care how professional performer you are, if someone's talking 20 feet away from you and you can hear it, it's it's gonna mess with your vibe, So we had to add a drummer and a bass player for more rockin' gigs. Sorry, there's kids screaming around me.
No, it's fine. It's Nelson, no worries, because I did an interview about a month ago or so, and the band was at a high school. They were there for a track meet, so they did it in the hallway, so it's all good. So we're going to get to one of your bands here. The first song up tonight is a song called Flip Side, and it's from
wicked.
your band,
Yeah.
the Celebration Army. Dig this.
Thank